Alright, we're ready.
Alright, tell me about Crowdsource It.
Alright, so Crowdsource It. It's essentially an IT services marketplace in a decentralized manner. It allows people to negotiate free market pricing for IT services. So, just as a case point, you ever gotten that phone call from a guy with a foreign accent, and he's sitting there saying, "Hey, I'd like to fix your computer. You've got a problem. Just let me remote in and I'm going to fix it."
Yeah, I need to hire that guy.
Yeah, well, he runs off with your money.
Yeah.
And he's been doing that for 20 years. So for 20 years, these same people, different people actually, have been managing to convince people that not only do they have this IT problem that this person can solve remotely, but they need to pay them over the internet to do so.
Right.
First it was, cash checks or that they were sending across, they were sending wires. Well, the world's evolving, and yet that demand has remained the same for 20 years. People still have these IT problems that they can't get solved in a convenient way. Because if you can't get your computer turned on, the reality is you've got to hoist it up, take it to your nearest Best Buy, and have Geek Squad take a look at it. Meanwhile, instead of trying to fix your problem, they're trying to sell you a new computer because they're convincing you that the repair costs are about the same anyways.
What is it? How are you planning to solve that problem?
So, I'm trying to solve that problem and meet that demand with a three-party trust system for free market IT services. My plan is to have people, technicians that have proven their credentials, proven that they have a work history, proven that they have an education and a capability, and no malicious intent, allow those people to exist on this marketplace as contractors, saying, we have this capability to work on networks, we have this capability to work on operating systems, we have this capability to work on mobile phone OSs, and they can provide that service to people as they ask for help. The goal is to essentially have people request help from the technician's platform, and if the technician's available, boom, right then and there, they can remote into your system as soon as you put the money in escrow.
But how do I know they're not going to just steal everything on my computer?
That's the beauty of it. So the reality is, you don't know if...
Especially with all my crypto on my computer.
Yeah, see? The reality is you have a lot of personal information on your computer. You have a lot of things about you that someone could benefit greatly from stealing. And you want to make sure that this stranger that you're contracting over the internet doesn't have the ability to just run off with your identity and buy a house in France. So I've got a three-party trust system I put together where not only are the payments put in escrow and only released when both parties agree that the services are rendered and were rendered correctly, but there's also proof of that because the connection method that these users are going through is a shared session gateway that has every keystroke, every piece of video, every piece of sound recorded and tagged with their ID, both the user's ID and the technician's ID. So, in the event that anyone claims foul, say the technician says, "Hey, I did the job he's not saying I did and he's not paying me," our customer service team can take a look at it and say, "You know what, the job was done well, release the money to the technician." Or he could say, "You know what, this technician is shady, he's trying to steal this guy's social security number, give it back to the customer, we need to research this technician and tell him, hey look, you're not working on our platform anymore because you got alternative
He gets booted
agendas."
from the system, basically.
Exactly.
Right.
And to begin with, we should not have people like that because generally people like that have an established pattern. Part of getting onto the platform to begin with is a background check. We're looking for criminal history, we're looking for fraud, we're looking for theft, we're looking for people who are generally trying to beat the system.
Right, so all the technicians will be pre-screened, pre-certified, high-quality technicians.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, that brings us to the question, okay, so these users have a need, they have a problem that needs to be solved, and they have a means to get there, but what does this look like for the users? Well, the users are going to have three available means to get their systems configured. So let's say their system has an issue with an application, like they can't get their printer mapped, or there's something that's OS level that they just don't know how to do, and they know the technicians do.
Which would be most issues, I would assume. 80%, 70%, something
most
like that.
Issues, yes. And generally, people would have someone they know fix an issue like that. Someone they know who's good with computers. But 9 times out of 10, that someone they know has their own busy lives. So they have to wait for them to have a free moment in their schedule and maybe front them a beer if they do.
Right, that's why I call you.
Exactly. So instead of that, now users will have the ability to just fire up the application, go to the marketplace and say, hey, I have this problem, can someone come fix it? technicians bid on the problem for the lowest bidder, or whoever this particular customer chooses, he may not go with the lowest bidder. He may go with the one who has the higher rating. People have said, you know what, this technician does his job well. I've never had a complaint with him. He may go with that guy.
And there's nothing like that out there now, or there's nothing that exists currently?
There are similar platforms out there, but nothing that quite hits a free market level. Generally, it's all service level agreements, pay monthly for a warranty, pay monthly for support. And the reality is, if we were having problems with our computer every month, we'd probably chuck it in the street.
Right.
So
they're all designed for enterprise solutions, so for a business that needs reoccurring support, nothing for just an a la carte, where any user can just get one thing fixed here and there.
Exactly. 9 times out of 10, you'll find those problems being solved through Craigslist, through Best Buy's Geek Squad, or through your local PC house, your local computer repair shop.
Okay.
Now, the beauty of this platform is that it allows people to connect, technicians to connect on this platform as well as customers. So technicians don't have to go get a 9-to-5 job. They can work through this platform from home on their own schedule and work doing exactly what they know they're comfortable with. So people that know the Windows 10 operating system better than anyone else, if they want to fill their day with fixing people's Windows 10 problems, which I had plenty trying to learn Windows 10,
right,
then they can do that.
When you can do it, I assume if you're really good at it, very quickly for a high return as a technician, but still be really good use on the user side. So if you're really good at user 10, you can crank through quick fixes on that all day long and have a really good return on a job-by-job basis, even though the user is very happy that what their problem got fixed in 5 minutes. They don't care if they paid $20. They're still happy that it was fixed.
Exactly.
Very cool.
And the part that I'm proudest about for this whole thing that I've been really working on, and this was what really kicked off my idea to begin with, was when you have a computer that for whatever reason you cannot get to the logon screen. It blue screens as you turn it on, or you don't have any display on your monitor, there's nothing you can do.
Right.
You can't have someone go to my PC into your computer, or log me into your computer, or use any of these commonly known remote access tools to fix your problem. They have to come to your residence, or you have to take your computer physically to the technician.
Right.
This remote access tool I've come up with fixes that. It essentially is a hyper-converged KVM and network adapter that allows for a remote encrypted VPN session to this server, so that when you turn on your computer, that technician has the ability to connect to it, and all the computer sees at the BIOS level is a monitor and a keyboard. So the technician is able to initiate a startup repair. The technician is able
from a complete boot up, like from totally frozen, totally off, they can completely start it up.
Exactly.
That's different.
And that is a very unique functionality. There are tools out there that have been created that serve 1 or 2 limited functions of the tool I'm having designed, but none of them actually hyper-converge all of these functionalities into a simple and cost-effective platform that allows users to have technicians work on their computers seamlessly.
Yeah, and then so where are you at so far? How have you made this? Does it exist? Have you created it, or where are you at?
Right now I'm in the early stages of seeking financing. I've got the specific remote access tool that I'm working on funded to the point that we've completed the TCP/IP stack code as well as the HDMI code. I still need to fulfill the engineer's commission cost for the TCP/IP stack code and the HDMI code to complete that portion of it. Then he can work on the encryption portion of this device.
And that would give you a working prototype of the data collection device, correct?
Yes. At that point, I would have a working prototype. Now, the engineer has said that he'd be able to complete this by December. Now, I'm currently paused in trying to get this developed while I await some additional funding, because I don't have a way to pay him to continue work on this until I get some kind of funding to continue it.
Is it a massive amount of funding? Are you talking a little bit, a lot? How much?
So the tool altogether will cost $10,000 for completion, but I've already paid $1,200 for the initial upfront, and I currently have an invoice that I'm needing to fill for $4,400. $670 has already been paid, so we're sitting on about $3,800.
Okay, left until you're about halfway.
$3,800, fulfill that invoice, then we can start the VPN encryption coding and actually put this all together on a physical device and say, here it is, world, watch it work.
Right, and that would give you, if I understand correctly, the device that would not only have a wireless connection, but also a BIOS level access to boot any kind of machine. Is that correct?
Absolutely,
Okay.
and that's because as far as the computer knows, this thing's just a keyboard and a video display.
Right.
It's going to have connections to the USB port on the computer, which is the keyboard and mouse, and it's going to have a connection to the video port. Whether that's onboard or discrete graphics, you'll have to prompt the user to say, okay, plug it in here on your computer and here on your computer. This device is also self-powered, because if you were trying to boot this machine, you wouldn't have time to have this device able to connect to a VPN while it's still trying to get power from the machine at first.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. So you can it's powered and you can use it anywhere. Yeah, and it can do a lot of different things. It sounds like a really cool device. So I guess at this point you're looking for partners, you're looking for people to help you take it from the step that you're at to the next phase, people that can help you work on it, launch it, get exposure for it, and ultimately get funding for it. Is that right?
Right now, I'm looking for funding to get this prototype complete so that I can take this in front of an incubator or a Kickstarter or a massive funding undertaking to get this whole platform launched. At this point, I just need something to be able to give people a legitimate demonstration and say, this is the problem I'm going to solve. Here it is on the computer, here it is on the server, here it is with a technician. Now, the problem is solved. Here is the process in its entirety.
Right, and that one device, that is the unique proprietary portion of this whole concept. That's what's going to prevent it from being just knocked off by any competitor. That data exchange or that data collection device that kind of sits in the middle of the combination of the two other hardware pieces you talked about is kind of the protectable portion of this business, which is why you need to get that piece together first. And then you can kind of take it to market at scale, correct?
Exactly, because first to market, especially in a stigmatized issue like this, is always at a disadvantage. Even more so exacerbated by the fact that I'm just a guy starting this business.
Right.
Now, let's say I do get this business up and running, and I don't have some kind of proprietary setup that Google or Amazon or eBay can't very quickly mimic with their massive pool of resources, their massive pool of personnel, their massive pool of expertise.
Their user base is huge already, yeah.
And most importantly, their name.
Right.
If you went to Google and searched "fix my computer" and Google popped up with its own little individual window like so many other things do, that says,
which they can guarantee it comes up first.
we'll fix it for you.
Right.
Then absolutely you'd choose that first.
Sure.
So my goal is to create this platform in a manner that it does have a proprietary function, and that would be the BIOS level remote configuration. If I get this tool made in a proprietary manner, I'll have a function that will not be easy for their team to replicate. And rather than just stand up their own service and say, here you go, world, chances are they're going to take the easy route and say, you know what? That business is doing something right. Let's acquire it, have them continue doing it right.
Right. No, that's very cool. So basically you put it together, you come up with a proof of concept that you can then roll up and sell to whoever is interested or the highest bidder. It's very cool. I like it. All right. Well, cool. Congratulations. Good luck. We'll see what happens.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Boom. Cut.